So it's time we finally met the elusive William Rockwell. Though we do have one last hurdle to get over. Yeah, in the VIP suites here, where all the Rockwell family lived in luxury, it does seem like a pretty straight shot down here to William's main suite, but there is a peculiar lock on the door that we'll need to get around. And to do that, we're going to have to explore each one of the suites here on the side. You also might notice that above each one of the doors is one of those plates we got to get into this area, and well, first things first, I really wanted to get rid of this horrible darkness, but yeah, there is a reason why the light switch doesn't work currently, and that's all due to the peculiar lock that's on that door there at the end. But for now, let's just start exploring the suites. That's right, each one of these suites has a very particular aesthetic going on with it that pretty much matches the plate above the door, and looks like we have another ghost here in need, but I want to turn on the lights first because, oddly enough, they are owl-shaped. Yeah. It's very, very strange, but yeah, let's see what this ghost wants.
Oh, yes. So, you finally come. My name is Amelia. I am Arthur's younger sister. You're looking for Kreia, right? Yes. She has been waiting for you all this time. Kreia's room is on the other side. My father knew how to get inside. But Jack might also know as well. I will give you this. Please, go see Jack. I will stay until the day my father's soul is finally released. I was incapable of stopping any of this. I will make amends.
So it seems that Kreia is not only on the Orpheus, but right next door. But we're going to have to figure out this locking mechanism before we can get in there. And yeah, this entire area is, well, overall very interesting to me because, well, after our trip through the ship, we've gotten kind of used to, well, I guess very Spartan aesthetics and feels, but yeah, each one of these suites has a very, very drastic and, I don't want to say garish, but it's not really fitting for a cruise ship. Still, it is a nice change of pace from the visuals we've been seeing so far in the game. I mean, outside of our trips through time anyway, but yeah, each one of these suites not only has a aesthetic that matches the main area, but it also has a bedroom and a bathroom that all has a matching motif. And as far as I can tell, each one of these suites were just specifically made up for each member of the Rockwell family, and I guess it really just goes to show this was indeed a ship made just for them. Yeah, you can kind of see on the crest there, I think that is supposed to be a tree. And the next room in line I think that is the fish plate, so I'm assuming an aquatic feel. And indeed, even in the darkness, I can kind of make out waves and an underwater feel. We have lovely clam-shaped sconces, but really what dominates the room are these two somewhat well-made portraits. And they are of the two Rockwells that led us down into this area in the first place, Hilda and Arthur Rockwell. They definitely don't give off the air of malevolence that William has in the past times that we've met him. But yeah, this underwater motif, I don't know if I'd really call it the best motif to have on a cruise ship. Normally, I mean, when you're on a boat, you do want to stay above the water, and well, the overall feel of these particular rooms just gives me the feeling of a sinking ship rather than a stable one. But even more so, we have managed to find another curing potion. And even if the motif is something of a bit of a morbid one, it is at least as lovely as the previous one. There is a very clam-shaped feeling going on in the bathroom. And I guess it's good to know that even if the ship manages to lose its lifeboat, we still have a spare one here in the bathtub. But yeah, there is one more item of importance in this room in particular, or this suite. And it's on the coral reef table here. As it's a clock key. Now, as such, I don't think we ran across a clock in any part of this area just yet, but well, this is going to be very important coming up fairly shortly. But our third suite here, I think that was the Firebird. So in comparison to the two previous suites, the Firebird suite is, well, in my opinion, a lot more bleak and stark than what anyone would probably be accustomed to. Really, it gives off the impression of being inside of a burnt-out chimney, but let's see what this ghost has to say.
Are you the one? The one who possesses the blue stone? Our family would have been finished were it not for that red stone. That is the reason why I aided my father in his endeavors. I completely forgot when and how I started helping him. Why? Why am I still here? There shouldn't be anything left for me in this world.
Well, I think Amelia just might have given us something to jog this ghost's memory.
My sister and I? What about this? Yeah, those were the good old days. Adjust the hallway clock to the bird in order to open the room next door.
And as Jack leaves his ghostly existence behind, he not only leaves us a vital clue to get inside Krea's suite, but he also gives us yet another interesting piece of the puzzle regarding the entire William Rockwell family. Yeah, even though we pretty much know at this point that William Rockwell was a pretty monstrous person, I don't really think that the Rockwell family, even William included, were actually evil people at heart. I think that William, more than likely, had just been overtaken by the power and allure of the Red Stone, and that all of his progeny and descendants were just, caught up in the lifestyle and the whirlwind of everything that was going on. Some of them, may have been privy to the I guess, machinations of just how everything was working behind the scenes, but I think for the most part, though, his family were mostly innocent bystanders and just the horrible power of the Red Stone. But as we finish up our tour here of the Firebird and its, I guess, very stone-based aesthetic, I am very happy that hopefully now we get to meet Krea in a more pleasant environment than the prisons and, railroad cars that we've seen her before. First things first, though, we had to use that clue that Jack gave us to unlock the door. And, it's going to involve this panel here on the wall and that dial above the door, which, for some reason or another, the game has decided to call a clock. Now, initially I would say that maybe these were astrological symbols and maybe instead of clock they meant calendar, but I don't really think there is a diamond or a snail astrological symbol. And even though it didn't give us any confirmation that we indeed unlocked the door, it is unlocked in time to meet Krea. Though it doesn't appear that she's in here. Though it is a much better looking room than the one we just left, with its light dirigibles and lovely blue colors, and even more than that, there are some pretty lovely, I think these are supposed to be blown up pictures on the walls here. And in fact, they are what appear to be happy memories from Krea and her, I guess father and mother, her close family. And I think this is to illustrate even more so that the Rockwells really weren't bad people. They were just people trying to live normal, everyday, comfortable lives. And that most of them lived in utter ignorance of just exactly how they got to be so successful. But along the wall here, there is a particular painting that stands out amongst all the others, not only for the fact it's not just a picture, but it is an actual painting. And it seems to be of a very familiar castle setting. And that's right. It is a place that we have been before. May not seem immediately familiar, but Well, if we check the date, we see that we are back in 1469, on the same date that the king was murdered and the red stone taken from him. And while we are still too late to stop his murder by the far distant relative of the Rockwell family, there is a reason to come over here and check out his body. It seems he was clutching something in his death grip. And it is a memento that we'll need. And with that, we now have a means to deal with that kingly ghost in case we run into him again, but, well, I would be a bit remiss if I didn't finish exploring this final suite here. Because, while overall I'd say the aesthetic has done its job with presenting a luxury cruise liner from the turn of the 20th century, I really had to commend From Software for going that extra mile with these final set of suites. They each have their own individual look and feel to them that, makes them completely different from anything else we've really seen on the ship so far. And I think that really just goes along with the entire feel that we've been given of the Rockwell family. That they are just, a step above and completely separated from the rest of society on the whole. But I think it's time we finally took down that final barrier and had a little face-to-face time with William Rockwell himself. But before we do that, we do have to deal with that peculiar lock that I mentioned before, though, well, lock might not have been the best word for it. I think a better word for it might have been guard. Yeah, the final guard in front of William Rockwell is the king, but I think we have a means to take care of him.
Eleanor, my daughter.
And with that final guard out of the way, it should be a pretty straight shot down to William Rockwell's suite. Something, though, just feels a little bit off about the situation. Especially considering that we still can't use the lights. Maybe William Rockwell is still in control here.
My journey has finally come to an end. Destiny shifted its course from the instant I held the red stone. With these hands, I have taken the lives of many innocent people. And what was it that I tried to achieve? I can't remember anything anymore. That girl, Kreia, was waiting for you. She was fighting for both you and your father. Take a look. is no more. Everything is already in the past. But you might be able to change it. The omnipotent power of the red stone has taken over your father. The blue stone. Combine them, and you can stop it. Please.
Showing some signs of humanity, William Rockwell has sent us back in time to hopefully stop the murder of Kreia. And, believe it or not, that is a pretty simple task to do. As she was shot, all we have to do is eliminate the bullet that ends up killing her. And just like that, the Rockwell family line has come to an end. Not only were we not able to save Kreia, but even the nefarious William Rockwell has seemingly died. Yeah, for all the power that the Redstone bestows, longevity and immortality do not appear to be one of them. Still, though, we have managed to find a key to the engine room, and that will be our final location of the game, where it seems that we are going to have a confrontation with our father. But the good news is that Kreia did manage to throw us that blue stone fragment, and that means that we should now have in our possession the complete blue stone. The one thing that we need to destroy the ultimate evil in the form of that redstone. Before we do that, though, there is one last thing we want to do in this VIP section. And that is to gather up the final astral piece.
My father, his soul finally rests in peace. I too shall rest now.
And with that, we finally gain the final astral piece, which is going to be pivotal in unlocking some of the endings, but it will have to be for next time, because for now, we have to make that long trek down to the engine room and have our final confrontation with dear old Dad. See you then.